Okay, so I'm going to be painting this area today. I haven't really totally decided what I'm painting yet. I'm in Lincoln, Massachusetts, and here's my palette, and it has, you can see I've set it up in kind of that order. It helps my brain if I set it up like a circular way, but you can set up your palette anyway. So I will be showing you how to do it. So to begin with, I'm going to start by doing a very quick underpainting. I'm going to use red because I like the way that red looks when I poke it through under there, and I'm going to try to really thin out my paint so that it's very transparent, so I'm not getting a lot of red, and I'm just going to trying to get it to look almost more pink like, because I want like this isn't going to ever be seen really, it's just going to poke through. So yeah, so I like to go back to front, so I'm going to start with like putting in the sky, and I'm just gonna block that in. It doesn't really matter if it's like perfectly exactly where the sky is located, because I will want some of it poking through, but I always like to go back to front because that's gonna help my background and environment feel more real. Okay, once I get the sky like blocked in, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do a really dark green. And the reason I'm gonna do a really dark green is that I'm not gonna add the details of my trees until very later. So I'm just gonna do like brown, black, and sort of green mixed together, and I'm going to make them as close to black, the trees as close to black as I can. So here I go blocking in those trees. I'm just going to like start like this, and I'm going to keep it really geometric, so no detail really, straight lines. Okay, my next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to block in this like barn that there's right there, and again I'm going to keep it really geometric. I'm going with like a weird brownish color because I don't really want a lot of, I want to pick a color that'll have to edit as little as possible. So I'm going to just like kind of very lightly block in where I think that barn should go. Okay, so like at this point you can see I've got this very blocked in structure that looks like a house. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to go from back to front. I've got like my underpainting done, and I'm going to start by adding some detail to the sky, which has clouds, and there are none in my picture. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to build my way forward. Okay, so I've now painted in the clouds, and now I'm going to do some more detail on the trees behind this like barn here. One thing that people ask me a lot is like, how do you erase things when you're painting? I often tell people you just paint over it, which I think is really scary. However, I try to remind people that the great thing about paint is that you can paint over it, and you can just do another layer and another layer and another layer until it's something that you actually like. So if there's anything you don't like, just paint over it. But this is the start of the background, so we're going to go into the trees now. Okay, so what you're seeing now is I've gone in and I've done more detail on the trees and the background. What you're going to notice too is that when I'm doing that detail, I'm going from dark to light. So I started out with a really dark color, and then what I'm doing is I'm bringing the lights on top of it. And the reason that I'm doing that is because it makes it significantly easier to add that detail when you're using acrylic paint. This isn't true for all paints, but it is true for acrylic paint, that it helps you if you're going from back to front always. And those lights, you'll notice in the trees behind, are on top of the darks. And so if you just kind of slightly go like really dark green, medium green, somewhat lighter green to the lightest green, it really helps this to pop out and look more realistic. And you'll also notice that I went in and I added some sky little poke throughs in the trees. You'll notice that that's what trees look like, and so adding that in before doing the detail on the leaves can help your trees look more realistic. So here is the final piece. I try to just stick with these 3 rules to go from back to front, go from dark to light, and remember that you can paint over anything that you don't like. And hopefully that helps you to be able to paint your own environment and get some detail and realism in there.